union will give us decent homes, schools for our children, and a living wage earned with dignity for the first time in our history. The Spaniards beat us down. Our present government oppresses us. The factory owners steal from us. Even the church adds her share to our burdens. Yes, we're told to be humble. Let it pass. Accept our lot because it comes from God. It doesn't. God made us to live with dignity. He wants us to be free, but he demands that we act like free men. Stop thinking of ourselves as second-class citizens. That's the way the exploiters want us to think. A labor union will give us the power to deal with the factory owners and demand the wages and working conditions that are our right as free men.
Father Luis, if we strike, if we refuse to work, where will our food come from?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been their weapon for centuries. That's the only freedom they'll give you, the freedom to starve.
I'm not worried about food, because we're used to garbage. But the police, what are they going to do if we strike?
The union's just another dream, isn't it?
They'll never give in to us.
Oh, of course they won't. They'll laugh, call you ignorant, disobedient children. But that's why you've got to prove to them that you're men, free men.
Padre Luis.
Jesus is God's son. He is also our friend, servant, brother. When he walked this earth, he loved everyone, especially the poor. But some didn't love him because he threatened their position of prestige and power. That's why they had him killed. But as you know, on the third day, God raised him from the dead. And to this day, he lives in a very special way in those that believe in him. Captain Gomez, will you join our instruction class?
No, thank you, Father Luis. I've already found your class very instructive.
Insight. Stories of modern man's search for meaning, freedom, love, insight.
The church is people, but what are they about? What's the purpose of the church? To celebrate God's presence among his people? To share God's love with those who do not as yet enjoy it? To help all men grow and develop and discover the meaning of their lives? To expand their consciousness, deepen their freedom, experience their oneness with all other men? To construct a humane society where justice and love prevail and the rights and dignity of all men are recognized? Yes, what is the purpose of the church?
Your Excellency, Senor Martinez is here.
Oh, yes, please ask him to come in.
Thank you, Father. Your Excellency, it's good to see you looking so well.
God is good to me. Obviously to you, too. What's this?
Oh, a little something special for your digestion.
Oh, Mouton Rothschild. Very nice, very expensive. You spoil me.
It is our duty to enjoy the good things God has given us.
Yes, please sit down.
Thank you. Where is Father Luis? On vacation?
Oh, no. He grew restless at headquarters, begged me to assign him to a barrio parish. He's in Merino.
The young have a thirst for martyrdom. They're also impatient. They're so naive, they really think they can build heaven on earth. In this world, there's only struggle and conflict, survival of the fittest.
In the next one, peace and joy.
Yes. Thank God we have the church to help us get there.
But to get to that peace and joy, we must do God's work here and now. Yes, to try, like Father Luis, to help those less fortunate.
That is what brings me here today. Business has been very good. Our volume with the North Americans exceeded $250,000 last month.
Very nice.
And as a result, we can now discuss your barrio hospital. Excellency, I believe deeply in your work among those unfortunate people. My check.
100,000.
And if things continue as well, there'll be another 100,000 in 6 months and the same next year.
Roberto, you're a good man. We've had the plans for months. Now we can break ground, have a little ceremony. Perhaps you'll say a word or two.
I'd be honored.
Have you thought of a name for the hospital? In view of your generosity, you should be the one to decide.
You know my devotion to the Virgin Rose. What would you think of calling it the Hospital of St. Rose of Lima?
Excellent. Excellent.
The reliquary. It can be carried for our dedication procession.
I'm sure that could be arranged. There's something troubling you, my friend.
A priest sees right to the heart. To be truthful, yes. Is Father Luis? I haven't wanted to bother you before, Excellency, but he's been keeping bad company. Radicals, agitators.
Father Luis is a good priest. He prays, loves people, works hard.
He's also young, easily influenced. Captain Gomez has been watching him closely. For his own good, of course. But he's been stirring the people up. Talking about this labor union. There's even talk of a strike that would just shatter the peace of our community. I mean, I don't know what the church is coming to when a priest can lead one class against another like that.
I'm sure you speak truthfully, Roberto, but there must be some mistake. Perhaps Captain Gomez misinterprets the reports that he gets.
Your Excellency, in my factory, I don't herd the workers with guns at their head. They ask for work. They're equally free to refuse it.
Oh, the lot of the poor is very hard, Roberto. Very hard indeed. So if a young priest with the fire of God's love in his heart acts a little intemperately, perhaps he could be pardoned, huh?
Well, then I think he needs the counsel of a wiser head. Forgive me, but if you could tell him to concentrate on spiritual things, tell him to do God's work, not mine.
I'll tell him.
Thank you.
I'm not sure he'll listen.
What?
Last time we spoke, he called me fascist.
I come to the well to get water. The water is mine because the land is mine. I am a man of... Father Luis, please.
Responsibility. Responsibility. A man of dignity.
I am a man of responsibility.
Ah, indeed you are, my brother.
I can understand. This gives me power. I am a man. I can do something.
You will do something. Oh, Jesus, this is what makes the world go round. My friends, this is a very happy day for me. What you have learned, you must teach others, but pick them carefully. Be sure that they are men of fire, like yourselves. And don't forget the meeting tomorrow night, huh?
Oh, no, Father. No. Good night, Father.
Good night, Father. Good night. Till tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Have we grown so different that we can't even talk?
I work in my way, you work in yours.
With no point of contact?
Look, Bishop, you've sold out.
Have patience with your elders, Luis.
Patience. Jesus lived with the poor. He fought for the poor. Brought life and freedom to the poor. Most important of all, he was poor himself. Can you say that? You live like the rich. You dress like the rich. You think like the rich. You've sold yourself body and soul, and in the process, you've made the church look like a whore.
The rich have souls, too. But you must admit that they pay well for my seduction. For the new Barrio Hospital.
From Martinez. It's quite a bribe.
Charity.
To hell with charity. We want justice.
Luis, it takes time to change the social structure.
It takes forever when you take money from an exploiter like Martinez.
We need a barrio hospital. I don't give one damn how we get it.
It's still just a tip to keep the good ship status quo from going
But
down.
the money is here in my hand. You must admit my way gets results faster than your ways and no chance of riots and hurt. A strike would be destructive.
Not if we win.
How could we win? It's hopeless.
No, well, it wouldn't be if you'd throw your weight behind us.
I'm bishop of all the people. Luis, you can't do everything at once.
Yes.
Now, this literacy campaign, I like that. That's very good. They learned, it's good.
You don't understand. The two things are connected. When a man is confronted by a vital document, which he stares at with total incomprehension and has to put a fingerprint on it because he doesn't know how to sign his name, and when he can't put his most intimate thoughts on paper or read a letter from a loved, that man closes up. He becomes silent, feels humiliated, inferior. It's the disease of the barrio. Now, knowing how to read and write gives a man pride, confidence to stand up to the Martinez of this world and say, I want my rights. Yes. I am a human being.
This literacy campaign is fine. I agree. But I don't want you to get too involved in secular activities. It's not right for a priest. It's not good.
Not right, not good for a priest. And that's where I find Jesus.
All right. But this union thing, this strike, it could tear the city apart.
Oh.
Put the rich and the poor at each other's necks.
No, the strike is the first step in creating a just social order where the rights and dignity of all people will be safe.
We need peace to create a just social order. Your way would destroy
My people want justice. We can only build peace on that.
Please, don't get involved with the strike.
Is that an order?
Luis, don't support the strike.
Is that an order?
If it were, would you obey?
Yes, but I'd be angry. I'd be very angry. Is it an order?
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because I'm not altogether sure that you're wrong. Are you so sure that you are right?
I know something has to be done, and done now. Excellency, the poverty level of these people cries out to heaven. No schools, lack of protein in their diet. I mean, whole villages of children almost at the imbecile level because of protein deficiency brain damage. While the Martinez live in their fine homes, they get fat, drink imported wines, and send their children to school in the United States. Oh, Bishop, you don't know how bad things are. The gap between rich and poor is widening. Conditions are inhuman. It's intolerable. Now, I think that a union, the chance to negotiate from a position of strength is their only hope.
Negotiate, then. Don't strike.
But how can we negotiate? Martinez won't even talk to us. When any of our people complain, he's labeled a troublemaker and fired.
How, then, can they survive a strike?
Well, that's what I've been meaning to talk to you about. When it comes, we're going to need help. Money for food. Lots of money.
Luis, you know the finances of the diocese. We can hardly make it now.
The check.
The check is for a separate hospital fund. I can't touch it.
Oh, if only the Church of Jesus Christ could live as he lived. We were told to sell what we have and give to the poor.
What do we have that we can sell?
You could start with the reliquary.
Of St. Rose of Lima?
Yes.
The patron of our diocese? The reliquary has been here 300 years. Do you know what it means to our people? On her feast day, the church is packed.
Yes, I know. I see their poverty, and I look at the wealth of that symbol, and I want to vomit. And how do you suppose St. Rose would feel about what's been done to her, honoring her with gold and jewels while her people starve?
You don't understand.
No,
it's not mine to dispose of, Luis. It belongs to the people. One of the few beautiful things that they have. It symbolizes their faith. It gives meaning to their lives. Do you think they would want it sold?
Have you ever asked them?
Father.
She was too shy to ask, but she would be honored if the bishop would join her meal. They're lucky enough to have meat today.
Tell her I wouldn't want to impose. They have little enough as it is.
No, but she wants to share it with us. Sharing what little they have is one of the few beautiful things in their lives, a symbol of their faith.
Tell her I'd be honored.
Dolores, His Excellency would be honored.
We must not do this, Father. I'm not speaking for the few remaining years left to me, but the lives of our little children.
This is for them.
Pepe, please, listen to me. It takes time before things get better. It's all in the hands of God. That's what I was taught, and that's what I believe.
Did God teach you that, or was it the men who own the factories?
At least they give us work. When I was a boy, there was none. Babies starved at their mother's breasts. Now at least a man can eat.
To keep alive for another year of slavery?
Oh, also, I remember I couldn't sleep because of hunger. I remember my mother made a kind of soup made of weeds. Now,
You tell him, old man, we don't have it that bad now, Pepe. Father Reese, true that I'm 35 years old, and that I've been engaged for a long time, and that I still live with my parents, and she lives with hers. Because the money we get is, we just need it to feed our family. But on Sunday, sometimes we go to the park. Sometimes we have some wine.
Jose, is that all you want?
think of the little one. Now listen, if you disobey the owners, they will punish all of us. And if there's no work, no food, how are we going to take care of the little ones? Think of the little ones!
I am thinking of them.
Listen, my mother does housework for the bishop. And she heard that there's going to be a hospital built right here in the barrio. You know who's going to pay for it? Senor Martinez.
Is that true?
Yes, what Jose says is true. There will be a hospital. Within a week or so, the work will start.
Would be a shame to strike now. A poor way to show our gratitude. Maybe Senor Martinez will change his mind.
Of course he'll change his mind. Don't you see? This is just a scrap he's throwing to us as if we're a bunch of starving dogs. He knows we're gonna lick his fingers for it. We're men. When are we gonna start acting like men? We need our own hospital and our own jobs to support it.
Don't make them angry.
Father Luis, can you make them understand?
Each of you must decide for yourselves. Now, it is an important decision, since your whole future and that of your children depends on it. We can build a better world for them, but we've got to start now.
Father Ruiz, do you wish us to strike and bring down the wrath of Senor Martinez and the police?
You must decide. But if you decide to strike, it must not be in anger. Love your oppressor. Now, he may use physical force against us. Meet him with soul force. Pepe, under no conditions will we use violence if you decide to strike.
Father, the guerrillas have told us that force is the only thing they'll listen to. We've been peaceful.
But that's the stupidity of the communists. Hit a man and he's going to hit back. Love him and he doesn't know what to do. No, love is our strongest weapon.
All right. All right. We've listened. We've discussed. Now it is time to take action. I believe there is only one answer, and that is to strike.
Used to leave. The priest has them hypnotized.
He doesn't leave us much choice, does he? Got to keep the production line moving. Well, if they won't work, there's plenty who will.
Strike breakers?
I hope we won't need them. Look at those people. They're simple, innocent. They've been corrupted by too much education and outside agitation.
They're determined to win this fight, Senor. There's only one way to break through that picket line, and that's for you to order me to do so by force.
Captain Gomez, a frontal attack is not always the best thing. Father Luis! Father Luis, I'm sorry to see you here.
I'm sorry it's necessary to be here.
You may be sincere. I'm sure you are. What does this have to do with the spiritual mission of the church?
The mission of the church is to help people grow, and develop, and be free. Now, how can these people be free under the appalling social conditions that you've created?
What do you mean that I created?
Do you think a man can support a family on what you pay? Do you deny that working conditions in your factories are inhuman?
Yes, I deny it.
4 serious accidents last month. One man lost an arm to a bandsaw and his job. Injuries that could have been prevented.
I knew nothing of that. Why don't the men complain to me directly?
Last time someone complained, you had him fired. The men got your message and kept quiet, but that's changing. See, with the union, the men will be able to speak, and you'll have to listen.
Tell your people that truck contains workers who will take their jobs if you force this action upon me. I don't want to punish them, but we can't submit to mob rule. There has to be respect for law and order.
That's what we're trying to...
Otherwise, life becomes a jungle, Father. Forgive me. Now, please, tell them to lay down their signs. Go back to work, and nothing more will be said of this incident. That's my final offer.
Father Luis, shall we?
Advise them, Father.
We're not children to be frightened by your words. As men, we voted to strike, and we're gonna strike. Come on, strike! 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 Strike!
You have your answer.
Strike! 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 Strike!
Captain Gomez, take the workers through.
Okay, unload those men.
All right, come on.
All right, you're an unlawful assembly. As captain of police, I order you to disperse. Now stand aside.
Kneel with me and pray. Keep your signs. Don't resist. Force them to carry us away.
Our Father, who art in heaven,
Rojas, seguinos. Pull them out of there.
thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Terrible news. Father Luis is dead.
And 3 workers, fathers of family. Their bloody body in the street.
We warned Father Luis. We told him what could happen. He knew there might be bloodshed and violence, but he wouldn't listen. If a priest descends to his people's level and gets involved with their greed for material things and leads them into lawlessness, then, I mean, he loses his people's love and their respect.
Roberto, please leave me, Roberto.
You must understand, it was not the fault of the police.
I know.
The workers fought, they attacked, I was there. All of a sudden, there were shots. It was no one's fault.
I know. Please leave me.
Of course, my sympathy. My deepest sympathy.
Luis. priest doesn't need prayer for his good soul, I'm sure of that. And I'm sure you had good reason to take him. But we could have used him better here, I think. I'm praying for us now. Give me strength. Show me the way. Open my eyes.
Your Excellency, I'm just on my way to the residence. I want to ask your permission to arrange a public funeral for Father Luis, and I will give whatever money's...
Funeral has been arranged, Roberto. It'll be here in the barrio. This was his home. It will be mine.
You're leaving the residence?
Selling it.
You're selling it?
Everything in it.
Not the reliquary.
Yes, that goes first.
The reliquary of St. Rose of Lima? Why are you doing a thing like that?
Roberto, to create a strike fund.
Excellency, that's impossible. I mean, my father, my whole family, we've been loyal sons to the church. Why are you declaring war on us like this?
Not against you, Roberto. Not on you. Against what you are doing. You see, these people, they have been exploited and oppressed. It's sinful. It cries to heaven for a remedy. You are responsible, and I am too. It took me a long time to understand this. I pray that your eyes may be opened soon. These people have a right to their own union, to collective bargaining, to a living wage. As their employer, it's your duty before God to help them try to get this. God made these people to be free, to walk in dignity. And to the degree that you usurp their freedom and assault their dignity, you sin against humanity and against God.
Insight is a production of the Paulist Fathers, a group of Catholic priests who seek to share the good news of God's love with all their brothers and sisters in the human family.